Hello, hello. Uh, Welcome everybody to the Sports with Sardaji and Friends F1 podcast. And we are back. We are in, I mean, not we, but F1. F1 is in Sin City this weekend, right? And yeah, it's racing under the lights, racing under the glamour of Las Vegas and the Las Vegas Boulevard, the strip. And what a day it has been, right? Crazy, crazy day. But Aniket, why don't we start off with, our Mexican Minister of not much defense. Uh,
I think we should start at the other end. Let's start at the other end
yeah, we're
because
starting at the other end.
no, I
We
was
generally start from the top.
I thought we should have got given credit to George Russell, but okay, I think we'll just start with somebody
I
who's.
sorry, it's a it's a tradition in the stream. Just dunking on George such Perez every time.
I think this guy has checkered out. If you know what I'm saying,
Yep,
he's checkered out.
perfect. Check it out.
His season has come to an end. He's no more the racing driver he used to be, unfortunately, and
Yeah,
when your teammate is P3 and you're again in what P18, then definitely there has
yeah,
to
like
be question marks on what you're doing in that car. I mean, I know Red Bull did not have the perfect setup for this weekend. Firstly, as an organization, they failed to do the basic things of bringing the right parts on a car. And yes, that did not help, but still, this car is capable of at least getting into Q2 or even Q3, and with that kind of a performance again, there's a lot of question marks being continuously raised as to when Red Bull will actually replace Checo now. So we wait for that decision. It's gonna take some time. It does feel like they're gonna ride this wave of disappointment and poor performance on Checo for the last few races, and then just take a decision over this winter break and come back with a new lineup by next season, because definitely this is not something we expected from Checo this last second half of the season. And it's about time he gets replaced for Red Bull, because they need someone who can help Max and who can help the team as well compete in the constructors.
yeah, yeah, totally. Like it, and I think even what's the guy's name? Honor. Honor
Hmm.
started to hint that that the lineup may not be secure, right? I think I mean despite whatever 30 million that Sergio brings to the team, I think they're starting to be like, okay, man, this is getting embarrassing, right? For a top
Hmm.
team, when your first driver is qualifying the car in P4 despite having a wrong rear wing.
Yeah.
The other driver is what P17, P18, whatever it was, doesn't matter, man. It's some out in
Hmm.
Q1, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is yeah, just abysmal from Sergio, man. Like what's yeah, I think it's totally lost confidence. Yeah, I don't know. I think if he loses Red Bull seat, yeah, I mean he's probably not coming back to F1, right? It's probably that's probably
Yeah.
retirement for him.
I think you would
Um
look forward to some other kinds of motorsport like IndyCar or something.
yeah,
The
IndyCar,
more,
endurance, yeah, a lot of other
yeah,
stuff.
but definitely I don't see him again in F1, because most of the teams have already have wrapped up their driver pairing for next season. He's not going to Alpha Tauri. Doesn't make sense to go back there to go there. So it's either going to be retirement or take a sabbatical from F1.
Yeah, and this was a tweet that one of the F1 influencers shared today. Sergio Perez has as many Q1 eliminations as McLaren, Ferrari, and Mercedes combined. Like, man,
Yeah, I mean
gotta
even the
feel for him,
F1
man. Like,
official X channel was trolling Checo. So yeah, definitely something wrong with with his performances. Like we don't know. We'll probably get an end of season report on what's gone wrong with Checo, and maybe Checo comes out later once he's removed by Red Bull and talks about why his performances are so bad.
simple thing is just check it out, right?
Exactly.
I mean, he has a contract at the end of 2025, right? So even if he gets fired, he's getting paid till the end of next year, right?
He's
So
getting paid, yeah, for sure.
yeah. So yeah, yeah. Enough of dunking on Checo. We'll come back to Red Bull, but let's go to Aniket's team, Mercedes. Man, what a weekend so far.
Yeah, top in all the sessions so far, clean sweep. So far, they should have had a 1-2 this qualifying session. And ideally, Lewis should have been on pole because he has been the faster Mercedes driver. But come Q3, something went wrong with the car, or Lewis himself did not get the optimal lap from the car, because that car had so much performance, and he definitely made a couple of mistakes on both his time laps. That's why he's down in P10, while George Russell is, P1, Mercedes' first pole since Great Britain, since Silverstone. So it was a surprise, right? Nobody expected them to be on pole. Even I'm shocked as to what has happened to the car suddenly. Such a mystery of a team, I say, because they were nowhere in the last few races, and now suddenly they're on pole. Like they seem on a one lap, especially they seem far and away the best team ahead of the other three or four teams who are three teams who are in contention. So a little bit of surprise, but based on the the free practice sessions we've had, not a surprise because Mercedes were definitely the best team on one lap pace. And George Russell
Yeah.
deserved pole. He was consistent throughout the session. He took advantage of Lewis's mistake, and he did not himself make any mistakes in Q3. So it was a close qualifying session. I think everyone up till the last laps did have a chance to go on pole, but the Mercedes has that some kind of a one lap edge. It did seem like over the others.
Yeah, but it was pretty close. Like
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz was just a tenth behind
Hmm.
George, right? So it was a pretty close session at the top. But then yeah, I mean Pierre Gasly was 3.5 tenths behind. Charles was another tenth and a half behind.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think yeah, definitely back to the Mercedes garage and they'll be like, guys, how are we? How are we on top?
That's what
Like
George
this
was
car was
saying
shit last
after
week.
free practice. They're trying to find out how are they suddenly like so quick. Maybe F1 should have raced on Las Vegas like all year round this in this season.
All year round. I mean, they were good in Silverstone and Spa too, right? And then
Yeah.
suddenly
So I
something
think
fell apart.
I think since we spoke about Silverstone and Spa, one similarity between all three races, it's cold. It's been cold in all three of the races. Even in Las Vegas now, it's the track temperature is very cool. I think it's
Vegas is
like,
very cold. Yeah.
yeah. So that has helped. I think Mercedes does well on cooler tracks rather than hotter tracks. So definitely that is helping the car to get that extra performance which it requires. So I think they're the favorites for the race as well because even in race trim they look good. I think I mean definitely the others will be there, but if George keeps it clean in the first few corners, then he can probably scamper away at the front. So we'll see come tomorrow what happens. But good stuff from George. I think it's Lewis has a mountain to climb now from P10.
Yeah, I'm talking about temperatures, right? Does that also mean that they're toast in the final two races? I mean, Qatar and Abu Dhabi, they're just hot, hot, hot.
Yeah, there could be a possibility that this is their last chance for a victory this season. So
Yeah.
I'm sure George would want to take that victory and put one over Lewis on a day where on a weekend where both were kind of in a similar pace, similar pace kind of a region. So I'm expecting George to do well tomorrow. I'm not sure if I hope he does not have any kind of a Lando of a start. I think we should just call it a Lando of a start now because we know Lando always likes to f up his starts. So if George keeps it clean, he could very well win the race.
Yeah, I think George has generally been better at starting compared to compared to Lando. So yeah, we'll definitely see how that goes tomorrow. Um, yeah, and I mean, uh, it's just very funny to me that coming back to Red Bull, right? Obviously, Lewis had a shocker for Q3. I mean, I don't know, made a mistake, but again, Vegas is pretty unforgiving track, right? It's cold, it's narrow, right?
Yeah,
And Lewis is getting uh, Toto was, ragging on Lewis last weekend, saying he's getting old and the shelf life and all of that. And Lewis
just as he
looked
was putting
very
those comments to bed, he unfortunately makes
yeah,
these mistakes.
exactly. Like Lewis was very intent on proving him wrong. He was, fast all weekend, right? He was even fastest in Q2,
Yeah.
And yeah, he tries too hard in Q3 and then completely messes his lap up, right?
Mm, exactly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if he can. I mean, yeah, he has. I mean, the field is pretty strong ahead of him, right? It's not going to be easy to go from P10 to the front row, right? Yeah, I mean, sure, maybe Nico Hulkenberg will be easy, and maybe Yuki Tsunoda, but I mean, the rest are pretty strong
Yeah.
drivers. So yeah, we see maybe they'll put him on hards and do a long stint um, at the beginning.
I think the hards might take a lot of time to warm up because of the temperatures. So maybe they might. I'm hoping they go more aggressive. You know, maybe go on the softs or whatever meat. I
Softs,
mean, yeah,
really?
I think the softs are holding up well because teams are able to put multiple quick laps because of the temperatures, right?
Yeah,
The cooler temperatures are
that's
helping
true.
them to not degrade too quickly. So if they go aggressive, I would love them to go with Lewis on soft
Yeah, and
tires.
I think Mercedes do have an extra pair of softs, right? They use mediums in Q1, so I think they do have an extra set.
I think they do have. So it all depends on
Yeah.
what how the team decides now. So they want to play a little more conservative, go with the medium, which would be probably the right strategy, or going aggressive with soft, try to get some places in the first few laps, and then go on a two-stop strategy or something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess something that'll be interesting to see is if Lewis puts on the softs, right? Maybe does a few two or three quick overtakes at the beginning with the extra grip, and then it's Vegas, so invariably you see somebody built into the wall, and
Yeah,
you get a safety car or a red flag, and you get a cheap pit stop to the hard. So
maybe the Williams wins it again. Who knows?
maybe George Russell builds it again. But yeah, yeah. Well, that's it for Mercedes. But talking going to the other Mercedes team, uh, Lando finished behind a guy who had the wrong rear wing, man.
Yeah, I think McLaren will definitely be disappointed with that showing. I don't think they would have expected to be on the third row of the grid, but
Yep.
so I think they underperformed. I think the car is better than what it shows in the positions. P5 and P6 is not relatively. It was Oscar P6. Oscar was
No,
P6,
no,
right?
no. Lando is P6, Oscar is P8.
Oh wow, okay, so they finished even lower. So definitely no, I don't think the car is reflective of that performance. Definitely the car is much better. I think they got caught out with the track improving so quickly. I think they were the first ones out on the last runs. So the people behind them got more performance out because the track was still ramping up. The track was such that it was still ramping up every session.
Yeah,
So maybe
I
they
mean,
were a little
Gasly
like,
came in P3.
yeah. I don't think Gasly will stick to P3 for long in the race though. So maybe it's just that the track was ramping up so quickly that McLaren were caught out because they put in the laps
Yep.
much earlier than the others. So I mean, definitely it's not a right, not right to see from McLaren's perspective that a guy who does not have a rear wing is ahead of them. So that's kind of embarrassing. And also this means that they have to fight even more harder in terms of maintaining the lead in the constructors championship because Ferrari is ahead of them in the quali position. So Ferrari, if they have a good start, then if they get a good result, they might put that extra pressure on McLaren and the constructors. But yeah, it all and spices up the race, right? You see all these drivers being out of position, so many drivers being out of position. So does it means the race will be a little more interesting than what we thought it could be.
And definitely, I mean, coming this weekend, McLaren were like, oh, we have to, finish ahead of Red Bull to have any mathematical chance of, Lando winning the title. And
Oh
it
no,
seems
no,
like
no.
they're throwing all.
Lando basically told he basically came out after the last race in Brazil saying the drivers championship was never on his mind and basically the championship was over in the first six races. So I don't think that McLaren are focused on the drivers' championship anymore. I think Oscar himself said that it's gonna be no more papaya rules anymore. Drivers are free to race. So I would expect that to happen in this race as well. In case Lando and Oscar dueling it out against Max Verstappen and Oscar is a better car. I think McLaren would let Oscar go and that is going to happen. So I was just talking about the McLaren drivers being now also free to race, since the papaya rolls have now
Yeah.
been a disgusting name for that has now been removed effectively because Lando is no more a championship contender,
Yeah.
or he's, I mean, basically I don't think the McLaren driver is going to win the championship. So they just have to
It'd be
play it
very
safe,
funny if
work as a
Oscar
team.
overtakes him.
Yeah, they just have to work as a team and maintain their lead in the constructors, because now that's the main goal.
Yeah, I think with the abandonment of Papaya rules, McLaren is basically given up on the drivers' championship, right? I mean, makes sense. Max is way too ahead, and he's not one to make so many mistakes that he'll give up. I don't know what a 50, 60 point lead or whatever that he has, right?
Yeah, now it's 67 or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and what's going on with Alpine, man? Like Pierre Gasly was like, damn.
Right place, right time. I feel for Pierre Gasly. Firstly, getting into Q3
Yep.
itself was a big achievement for Alpine, and this comes in the back of Alpine announcing their move to Mercedes engines from 2026 onwards. That was 2026 onwards, right?
Yeah.
So
On the new regulations. Yeah.
yeah, so definitely a welcome boost to the team. I mean, it does seem that going to end the season on a high compared to how they started it. I remember where they started it, they were having weight issues with the car. They're finishing at the bottom two for the first few races. So, very strong showing from them this weekend. I'm not sure what exactly they found in their car to be that up ahead of the likes of so many other big names. So,
Yeah.
I don't think Gasly will stay at that position for too long. I'm sure Max and the McLaren and even Lewis and all those guys will be gunning him down in the first 5 to 10 laps. So, but it's commendable. I think Alpine definitely would not have expected this, and it does show that Gasly is still one of the top midfield drivers in F1, because he's getting a P3 out of that car speaks volumes.
Right. Yeah, I mean, even if Gasly can, keep it in the top 10 and, get a few points, that'll be a massive
Yeah.
weekend for Alpine, right? Yeah, full credit to them for, turning around the season. Yeah, I don't think even Alpine expected that turnaround. Uh, but yeah, I mean, again, this car still has a Renault engine, so it's kind of, disappointing that, just when they start getting competitive, they abandon the basically engine and gearbox and all of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure the people in the factory will be very disappointed that, hey, just when we're proving that, we can, you know, stand toe to toe with the best, right? Given, some good conditions. Now
Yeah.
they'll have to be forced to, kind of give that up. Like this is the same engine that won 4 titles with Red Bull, right? Not too long ago.
Hmm.
So,
I
yeah,
mean, same constructor basically.
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I think yeah, we'll see how much Pierre Gasly can hold on to tomorrow. Obviously, a lot of people behind him will be gunning for that final podium place. Um, yeah, yeah, we'll see how Pierre Gasly is, and yeah,
I don't think we
Ferrari.
spoke about
Yeah,
your team. Yeah, I was just gonna come to that.
yeah. We're coming to Ferrari. Yeah, I think they were kind of expected to be one of the favorites going into Vegas
Yeah.
because, especially seeing the performance last season at Vegas, when Charles got pole and but Max kind of edged him at the end because I mean that Red Bull was way too quick. But yeah, this time Charles especially had a forgettable qualifying, right? P4.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost like what, three and a half tenths behind Carlos, right? So
Hmm.
not something that he was expecting, right? But yeah, Carlos put in and yeah, I think Carlos was kind of pretty quicker than him even in Q2, right? So yeah, Carlos again, once again, trying to convince Ferrari, oh, maybe you made the wrong decision, right?
I will see about that next season. I don't think we can say much about that now.
Yeah, yeah,
But Carlos is
but
definitely good at street circuits, right? You can see that, he's got a
yeah,
hang of street circuits. So definitely again a strong showing from him as he tries to end his
I
Ferrari
mean,
career on a high.
and also pretty very good qualifying lap, right? He was kind of up there, right, with the the Mercedes of George Russell, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he'll be very happy. It's going to be an interesting start. Right? It's a short pit straight. Turn one comes pretty quickly, and yeah, we'll see if Russell and Carlos give us some action at the
yeah,
as
I
soon as the
agree.
race
I think
starts.
two drivers with nothing to lose, they could
Yeah,
get it could get spicy, in terms of both wanting to win. I think Carlos definitely wants to win one or even two more races before saying goodbye to Ferrari. So he'll be extra motivated to, get down the first corner with the lead, or take it to George Russell whenever he can. So we'll see. Like Carlos is definitely looking like the better driver. We've seen on one or more occasions, right? I mean, in the season that Carlos has the edge over Charles in some of these races, and the edge is quite a bit actually. It's not a
yep,
minuscule edge. It's Charles
right.
is two one or two tenths behind Carlos, so it does seem like one of those races again where Carlos is more comfortable with the car than Charles. So maybe the race shows us something different. Maybe Charles has prepped his car for the race much better than Carlos. So we'll see how it pans out tomorrow. But Ferrari again in a strong position, 2 and 4. Now it's up to them to
Yeah,
take the maximum points they can so that they can put pressure on McLaren.
right. Yeah, no, totally. And as you're saying, there are two drivers with nothing to lose at the front. Actually, there are three drivers with nothing to lose at the front. Pierre Gasly really has nothing to lose at all, right? And he's right behind George.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. We have not seen a what do you say, a podium, a qualifying podium like this for so long, right? With three drivers, nothing to
yeah,
lose, none of them
exactly.
competing for a championship. Yeah, it's been a
Yep.
while.
Yeah, it's been a while, and definitely, I think 2024 has kind of thrown up a lot of surprises, right? You remember the in the beginning of the season, I think what Max won six out of the first 7 or 8 races, right? And we all thought that is this going to be another 2023? Max probably winning 22 or 24 races, some stupid number like that. But yeah, this has been a whirlwind season, right? Max didn't
Yeah,
win for 10 races in between till he won in Brazil last weekend. Sorry, the last race, right? Uh, he also hasn't been on pole for what 11 races now,
he hasn't
which
taken pole since Austria now, so it's been very, very long.
yeah, it's been very long exactly. So yeah, I think they're having a very very good season. Of course, we won't have a 2021 style finish. Lando messed that up
Because
honestly.
we have a driver who's not capable of that on the other end. We have the same driver in
Exactly.
Max Verstappen who's giving us strong showings despite the car kind
Yeah.
of being a second best in this latter part of the season. And even
Right.
today, he got that car to P4. I have no idea how. He got that car to P4 ahead of his main rival, who again
Yeah.
struggles across in this final stages of the season.
Yep. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I think Max has shown us plenty of times that he's a generation talent like Lewis, but I think this season is just showing that Lando may not be that guy, right?
You're not that guy, pal.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's trying to compare himself to Lewis and Max. Lewis almost won a title in his first season, right? And then actually won it in his second season. Um, Max entered F1 before he could legally drive, right? And then
Mm.
freaking went won races with a shitty team, right? Like one of the few drivers to win races during that Mercedes domination, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and meanwhile Lando is like, oh, it's luck, it's not talent.
I think Lando needs some PR training before he starts
Yeah,
speaking to reporters. Definitely, he's messed up
yeah, exactly.
quite a
Like
few of
even
his
this weekend,
answers.
yeah, like even this weekend, he was saying that because I think the reporter asking something on McLaren being the best car and Lando not taking advantage, and Lando is like, oh, even if Max drove the McLaren, he would not win the title. Like, bro, did you see Max having the best car last season? That guy won races by 30 seconds every weekend.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
definitely Lando. I mean, he kind of seems like a person who might give up a little too easily. So that needs to change if he wants to again at least be there next season, because I think this was his best opportunity to win a title, because I feel next
yeah.
season there might be a few more drivers in contention and he might get left behind, including his own teammate,
Uh,
who
yeah,
definitely
exactly. That
will
was
be there.
coming to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we say. Forget other drivers. His own teammate will not give him a chance next season.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I think after the season ends, definitely Lando needs to go back and do a lot of self assessment on the season and
Right.
what he could have done to make it closer. His own
Yeah.
mistakes, especially while leading from the front, starting
Right.
basically whenever he got a pole, he never gets a proper start. So there's a lot of
Oh
scope for
yeah.
improvement. We are not trashing him, but definitely when when the two drivers going head to head for a title and Lando is one of them, it's difficult for Lando to come out as the victor because of his abilities at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally agreed. But yeah, I think that's pretty much about qualifying. Yeah, I mean, we did have yeah, Aston
Oh, we
Martin,
didn't speak
another
about
forgettable.
Williams and another
Yeah,
crash
yeah,
bill.
yeah. I was coming to Williams. Yeah, but yeah, another forgettable weekend for Aston Martin, right? Both out in Q3. I mean, sure, Lance Stroll
Q1, you
got his
mean?
car late. Sorry.
Both are in Q1, you mean?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Q1, Q1.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Lance Stroll. Yeah, again, he had a crash in FP3 and his car came
Yeah.
out at the last minute. But yeah, I mean, Alonso, he had his car the whole session, still couldn't do much. Uh, Williams, again, Albon couldn't make it out of Q1. Colapinto did,
Surprising.
but then
Yeah.
Colapinto made a unforced error, right? And then kind of bit it into the wall. And like even before quali, there were reports saying that Red Bull might have cooled their jets on Colapinto for next season because he's been making mistakes like a rookie, and I guess Red Bull
Yeah.
don't want a younger Sergio Perez. Uh,
He's
but
got
yeah,
the
I
pace,
think
but the unfortunate part is he's a rookie who is prone to making mistakes. So now
yeah,
it's up to Red
this is
Bull if
what
they
like
want to
is
take that risk on someone this young.
what this is like. Fourth or fifth race, that was still pretty very new, right?
I think he's done less than 10 races for Williams this season.
Exactly. So yeah, I think still room to grow. Yeah, but we'll see if anybody tries to. I mean, I know teams are pretty full next season, but yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
what
But
happens.
I mean,
But
speaking
yeah, I
of
really got
Williams,
a feel for Williams. Yeah,
yeah, their crash bill is like growing ever and ever at this point, unfortunately. At this rate, I don't see
yeah.
them, competing in the last race because they might not have any parts left as part of their budget cap allocation.
Not just budget cut. It's a triple header again, right? They won't have much
Yeah.
time either to make repairs and all that. So I think they were saying that they will try to again repair the car today, not use fresh parts because there's still two races to go and they can't afford to lose more parts.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
we'll
it might
see
be a
what.
pit lane start most likely because it could be a
Yeah, yeah,
gearbox change. It could be, I don't know, what, lot more changes or something. So definitely looks like a pit lane start for Franco.
yeah, but we hope at least both cars start. Doesn't happen like last time
Yeah.
when only one car made it out, right? And Albon took the other guy's car. Yeah, but yeah, I guess also I forgot. Sauber had an unusually good session. They were in Q2. Joe Guan Yu
Yeah.
finished P13, right? Yeah,
I was
so
shocked. He was ahead of Valtteri, right?
oh yeah, Valtteri was P19.
Yeah, exactly. I've not seen that often this season.
Yeah,
Zoe has been like extremely bad, I would say, this season. That's the reason he's getting replaced. I mean, Valtteri is also getting replaced, but I mean, Zoe is like he's been so bad that no team wants him in F1, unfortunately. So I would say that good way for him to kick off his kick off the end of his Sauber tenure. So if he does keep performing like that, he could probably get like a test driver role in one of these teams. I think there were rumors of Zhou being linked to Ferrari for a test driver role. Not sure
yeah,
how
yeah.
strong those rumors are, but we'll see if that anything happens, anything comes from those reports. But I think Zhou needs to keep this going for the last couple of races. Let's see how the race pans out. I don't see. Uh, Again, there are a few drivers at the back who don't deserve to be there. Like okay, Checo ideally might make his way up the front. Unfortunately, for Zhou, and I think a Williams driver also might be better than the Sauber. So we'll see where it pans out. But good, finally a good session from him, and he's not starting at the back.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for qualifying. Oh yeah, another Lando quote which I forgot to mention. Uh, he said today the title was over after the first six races. Like really, dude.
Yeah, I was just saying that while you just stepped out. I was telling the audience that like Orlando himself said. So basically,
Ah,
he's
come
now saying
on.
all these things because he's no more in the title fight, which speaks of
Exactly.
how
Yeah.
sore of a loser. I wouldn't say a sore loser. I would just say he doesn't need to say all that. He should just be respectful and say that he's not been good enough these last few races, or something on those lines. So it comes out
I'm
as a
just
very
saying, oh,
big
it's not
defeat from him.
talent, it's luck.
Yeah, I mean, basically, he needs some PR training for sure.
Yeah, I guess that's about it for quali. And if you do a quick news roundup, I think the biggest news this week has been um, the certainty that Andretti or Cadillac, as we might be seeing it called,
Yeah.
may have got the green light for what 2026 or 2027.
Hmm.
Um,
It's
yeah, that'll
26.
be interesting. 26, yeah. So yeah, 11th team on the grid after a very long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely going to be exciting to see that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, apparently, some of Andretti's stake has been bought out by other parties,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
I think F1 and Andretti don't see eye to eye, and the fact that now Andretti doesn't own that much of the team is like a plus for F1 apparently. Yeah, just like your standard paddock drama.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Oh,
yeah, we'll.
what about the drivers complaining about marijuana and stuff? I think all of them
Oh
were
yeah,
saying
yeah,
how bad the smell was or something.
yeah,
Some
yeah. I
drivers
don't
were
know how
saying
they're
that
smelling it driving on the
if they
track at 300 k's an hour. Man.
if they do a dope test on the drivers, then they'll all test positive. It seems.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I
saw
didn't
that.
know it was that bad, huh?
I don't know. I mean, I've been to Vegas. Definitely not that bad, man.
Yeah, it's like strange. Not sure what changed.
I don't know. It's also legal there, so it's not like it's some illegal stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. Drivers sometimes go crazy, but at least no drain covers popping out this time.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I guess yeah. Hopefully, Colapinto is also fine. His crash,
Yeah.
50 G's. So he did have a mandatory medical checkup. I think he'll have one more tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hope he's going to be okay. And but yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah,
I
very
I
excited
think we
for
should do
tomorrow.
like a quick prediction check for tomorrow's
Yeah,
race.
you go first, Aniket. Who's your top three?
I mean, I'll predict George because Mercedes is looking good. So if George gets off to a good start,
Hmm.
I think he can stay there. So I would say George and Carlos and Charles.
Oh, Ferrari 2-3. Okay.
Yeah, because I think the McLaren are a little far off, and the McLaren Ferrari seem to have a similar race pace as well. And Max might not be there in the fight because of the rear wing. So that's the reason why I'm picking two Ferraris in the top three.
What's your hot take?
My hot take is Lando wins the race.
No, it has to be consistent with your top three, man.
I mean, like, I don't know, like, I think Carlos leads after the first lap, but George gets him back sometime within the next 2 or 3 laps.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me, my top three, I think, um, yeah, I think Carlos and George will flip. I think Carlos is really man on a mission. And for P3, I think, see, I think my P3 kind of ties in with the hot take. I think we'll see Lewis
Hmm.
uh, in
Those gonna
P3.
make 7 places up.
Yeah, I think the car is good, man. The Mercedes is really, really strong, right? So
Hmm.
I think Lewis will make up, but he just won't have enough to beat George at the end. So I think he'll end up P3. The
Or
Mercedes has been.
are we going to have the meme? If George starts P1 and Lewis starts P20, Lewis and George will finish like for a third and second and third or something.
Yeah, we'll see. I
Let's see.
think Lewis
I
will
think I'm
be
very
very intent to
optimistic
prove.
because he has to get past the McLarens, Max. So that's going to
Yeah,
be
I
a little
know, but
optimistic.
I think that Mercedes has really looked very very strong. I don't think. Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think Lewis is going to have a strong race, and I think no. The reason I say that I think Lewis is going to be especially intent on finishing his Mercedes career in a strong way. Um, and if what you said about temperatures is true, I mean, he probably won't have much of a chance in the last two races, right? Because they're in the desert. I mean, the hot deserts of
Yeah.
you know. Doha is during the day, right? It's a day race, right? Not a night race.
Those are night race.
Um, oh, Doha is a night race.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And yeah, Abu Dhabi starts kind of before sunset, so I mean it's still going to be hot. But yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
either of them is as cold as Vegas, right? They're still pretty tropical countries. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think Lewis's last chance, so I think he'll be really intent on getting to the podium. And I think my hot take would be I don't know, man. Uh, yeah, if I really want to make a hot take, I'll say Lewis P2, Charles P3, and Carlos at top, and George crashes out.
That's going to be something if it happens. That means
Yeah,
like three
yeah.
Ferrari drivers on the podium.
Yeah, that'll be epic. I'm
We
pretty
have
sure Fred will. Pretty
three
sure that
contracted
happens.
Ferrari drivers on
Fred
the
will tell the
podium.
media it's a Ferrari 123. That guy just
Yeah,
with the amount he trolls.
exactly. We've not had that podium like this season, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. Cool. But yeah, do you think? I think Max is also going to wrap up the title this race. Not a hot
Yeah,
take,
he
but
just
just a
needs to
weak
finish
take. But
ahead of Lando, right? I think that could
yeah,
happen
yeah,
based on
exactly.
how
He
Lando's
probably will
performing.
finish at the final.
That does look like it could happen.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's it from us. We'll see you again in a couple of days. Maybe tomorrow if something really strange happens in the race. But
Yeah, like Pierre
otherwise,
Gasly
we'll
somehow
definitely
wins
see
the
you.
race.
Oh yeah, I know. If Pierre Gasly wins the race, we are coming right here.
We're coming immediately after the race.
Exactly.
I'm seeing
Before
the
even the
stages.
podium anthem start playing, we're
Yeah,
going to be here.
exactly.
But yeah, I think yeah. Otherwise, we'll see you again during the week to kind of recap Vegas and kind of preview Doha. It's again a triple header to end the season,
So
and
what a
Doha is also a sprint weekend.
strange schedule to end the
Yeah,
season.
man. Like so, the previous triple header made sense, right? It was like what Austin, Brazil, and what
Mexico.
Mexico. Yeah, all three close by, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like Vegas here, and then you're going to the Middle East in the next week. Like,
It's
why?
gonna be tough for the team to get the logistics plan for this.
Yeah, and instead of having 3 weeks in between, you could have had, Vegas with a 2 week gap and then another 2 week gap for the last two
Yeah.
races, right?
See, Red Bull had 3 weeks to get a rear wing and they forgot. Now imagine teams like what they might forget in like traveling in a few
Forget
days. I
teams.
don't know.
What about teams like Williams, man, where the drivers can't keep the car on track?
Exactly.
All right, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you after the race, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe. We have our uh, target of 1K. We are currently at what 617 is what YouTube tells me. So yeah,
Yep.
definitely subscribe. Help us reach that 1,000 mark, and yeah, tell your friends. And we also do a lot of other sports, right, Aniket? Aniket and I also do the basketball pod
Yeah.
with Sadaji, and also cricket and football and all those other sports too.
Yeah, this weekend there's so many sports, so we don't get
Yeah.
to try to cover most of it with the cricket, with the India Australia Test series, which has been so exciting. As
Oh
well as
yeah. What a couple of days, man.
I know. So F1 is going along with cricket and football and basketball as well. So we have a Lakers game tomorrow against the
Yep.
Nuggets. That's gonna be
Oh
exciting.
yeah, the big game tomorrow
Yeah,
morning.
exactly. So we'll have an NBA pod probably sometime next week, and a cricket pod, and a
Right.
football pod, and probably an F1 pod as well. So stay tuned to the channel,
Right.
as
Yeah.
Prithvi said. Subscribe to the channel and show some love. Spread it to your family, spread it to your friends, and we'll be here after Vegas reviewing the Grand Prix.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, everyone, good night. Wear seatbelts, and yeah, catch you on the other side. See ya.